Good morning, Mr. Charles. Welcome back. You remember, you're old enough. I mean, because you're older than I am, so that makes you really bleeping old.
Oh, geez.
But remember back in the day when we were kids, welcome back, Cotter. Welcome back. I really would like to have that theme song when you and Terry are gone for a little while so I can play it when you guys come back.
Yeah, that'd be good, huh? That'd be a good
Yeah.
song.
I don't want John Travolta coming after me, though, and his legion of supporters down there in Tampa from L. Ron Hubbard's group there. I don't want any of that going on. Good people, though, from what I know. And so my folks live down there. And from what I've heard, Mr. Travolta is actually a very nice guy because he lives in the communities around down there. And my mom and dad know some people who actually know him and say that he is really spends time with the people he comes into contact with. Really cool dude. So I still don't want him coming after me because we used the Welcome Back Cotter song when you guys are gone
right?
for a while.
That's what they'll do. You watch out.
Indeed. So last night, I watch our shows, and one thing I notice, I say "indeed" too much. So if you're into drinking games, every time I say "indeed," by the time the show's over, you won't be able to walk. But
Indeed.
last night we had a pretty fun show last night with Jose Santos Jr. He is a jockey's agent and the son of the Hall of Famer Jose Santos Sr., obviously, who rode funny side to the Kentucky Derby win and then the Preakness win and then missed in the Belmont Stakes in the slop for a chance to win the Triple Crown. And I know he's one of 23 families, and I asked them about this. One of 23 families in the entire history of horse racing to be in that situation. Good morning, Leo, where your family member is riding a horse with a chance to win the Triple Crown and didn't win. So you go through the highest of highs with the Preakness and the Kentucky Derby, and then probably the crash with the Belmont. And he did bring up, that the Miami Herald had put out there that his dad cheated to win. So they like almost had to win the Preakness to essentially validate the Kentucky Derby win. And it was a really fun conversation. Then we talked a lot about, what an agent does and charting and stuff like that. So it was a really good conversation. If you haven't checked that one out, it's at Horse Racing Radar TV right here on YouTube. Best way to make sure you don't miss any of these fantastic conversations and have direct access to these people. But when we have our guests on in the horse racing community, if you have questions for them, no matter who it is, you can ask them right there in the comment section. And minus the really weirdo ones, we ask all the questions we can. Sometimes you get some really strange questions that don't make any sense. Good morning, Melvin. How are you today, my friend? We kind of all got screwed up with that 5-horse in that back end there. I needed it to win my pick 4. And, that 9-horse that we talked about at Gulfstream Park, it graded out well, Charles, on our new, what we call comfort zone. Have you checked this out?
Yes, I have. Yes. It's all about the horse's comfort zone in that for that distance, correct?
Well, what it is we do the 1,000 simulations for early speed, right? To see where the horses are going to be at the quarter-mile marker. And then I look back to see horses where they are in relation to the leader at the quarter-mile marker when they've run their best races. So we can find like the zone where the horse feels the most comfortable. Right. So if it's not too far back or too forward up, some horses don't like to be on the front. In any case, that's what it is. The horse, it should be based upon the pace, should get a trip that's very favorable to when it's run its best. That's probably the best definition I've come up with so far. All right. So we're going to try to do Gulfstream Park again today. 9 races, Mr. Charles. That's a decent card today. The track is fast. The dirt is the turf is firm, so that should make for some good solid racing in a card where I could find very few horses I just wanted to single up. A lot of races, I think you can go 4 or 5 deep and still maybe not find the winner. What do you think?
Well, I found 3 races that I liked. But the rest of the races, other than those 3, I think it's wide open. We might see some prices out there today, but if I'm going to key those 3 horses today on other things.
My only thing was to key those 3 horses. For one of them, it's going to be like the Concrete Gray coming up, I think, in race number 3.
Correct.
There's another horse later on. I think it's the 7-horse. I forget in which race, but it's probably going to be a heavy favorite as well with Irad Ortiz. And I do think those are horses that are probably going to win, very singleable. But I think the odds are all going to be 3 to 5, 4 to 5, maybe even lower. So even if you do hit the pick 4, if you don't catch something bigger on the back half of that, so if you go unlucky and it goes favorite, you might stake $40 and get back 27. That was my concern.
Right. But that's why I'm singling him in some things, and I'm going to swing for the fences on the pick 4 and pick 5s.
So Henry, you're going to be Babe Ruth in Wrigley Field calling your shots.
I'm calling it.
All right, well, let's start calling him in race number 1, which is a 1-mile turf race. Made an optional, claiming $50,000 for a purse of $50,000 as well. At 1 mile on the Gulfstream grass, there really isn't a running style bias. You can win from the front, the middle, or the back. You do get a little bit of a discount post position wise if you're on the inside 3, a little bit of a bump on the outside. The rail is at 35 feet, which again, 35 is not that far away from the inner rail, but still probably extends the stretch a little bit. So maybe you'll need a little bit more closing punch than usual to get home first. But I don't think it necessarily gets rid of horses with a chance to go wire to wire. And based upon our simulation, we couldn't do it for race number 1 because there's too many first-time starters and all that kind of stuff. So with that in mind, Charles, we'll just go straight to picks.
Yeah, in this race, well, I really did like the 16 originally, but he scratched out. And so I think this race is pretty wide open. It's a maiden race, so rightfully so. This horse I like for first is the 5 horse. This horse is well bred. I mean, if you look at the odds right now, he probably will go off right around 8 to 10 to 1. Weaver gets 13% first-time starters, and you got a nice solid work program for this horse. What that trainer does is he puts 2 works, on him, and then he does things on his own. Most likely, I would guess, running a 2-minute lick, what they call, which is you do a whole mile in 2 minutes or less. Most of the time, they do it like in 150 right on that exchange. But anyway.
Well, he's 16 to 1 right now, so you're going to get better than 8 to 1 for certain.
Yeah, see, so I think that's going to be a nice price horse today. I wouldn't leave him out of anything. The 7 horse is probably one of the horses to beat. He drops in class, bred to have speed. This is his second start after a layoff and second time with Lasix. The 11 horse is my third choice, another horse that drops today. Bred very well, cuts back in distance today. And then finally, the 1 horse, which could be a price horse. This horse also drops, ran 3rd last time out. This one will be closing, but I think, don't toss out that 5. I mean, I know it might not be the most prettiest thing on the paper because it's first time start.
So you have a pick 5 coming from one of the prettiest things on YouTube there. Go ahead, Charles.
That's right. From me. Yeah. YouTube sensation. Here we are. See, you agree.
Our Q scores go through the roof when you're on, but go ahead.
There it is, man. I mean, it's going to the moon. All right. Yeah. I'm going to take my top 4 picks, and then I'm bringing in another one in there just to balance it out. I got the 1, 3, 5, 7, and 11 in this first race. And then the second race, second leg, I should say, I took my top 2 picks, the 8 and the 1. And then my singles in that third leg, that's that 1 horse you mentioned earlier today. And then my 4th leg, I got to take my top 3 picks, and same thing with the 5th leg.
Okay, so in the opener for me, I'm going to start off with that 3 horse. Cumberland Falls. It's a maiden special weight dropper that is coming off the top last race speed figure. And I really like that March 5th workout at Palm Meadows Turf. 4 furlongs in 47 flat. No matter where you're running 4 furlongs in 47 flat, that's pretty quick. Number 7, Ransom Style, improved a little in her second career start. Going to go long for the first time, and I think that switching to IRAD could be an indication they think this one's ready to go. Number 10, Ancient Relic. That's me. Proved from race to race since her debut. Could continue up that speed performance ladder in your classic, Charles. 3rd start after a layoff. And then finally, Harmonia really hasn't had a good trip in any of her races so far, but it's been close at the end of both. A clean race here, and all that late juice could be enough to get the job done. I'm going to do a little bit different trifectas today, open up the budget a little bit by about $3 extra. Do the 3, 7, and 10, my top 3 picks over my top 5 picks over my top 3 picks, because like you said, Charles, minus a few races today, I do think there's some opportunities to get some big prices today. And if you catch them in the right place in your tickets, you could have a fantastic day. One Nice trifecta could cover our entire $100 budget today.
Correct.
Melvin, and got a pick 5 here. He's starting off with big numbers in terms of enters in the first leg: 2, 3, 10, 11. And then 1, 4, 8, and 5. 1, 6, 7. Then he's going to single the 7 in the fourth leg. And then 7, 9 in the last leg. And again, wide open card. Good luck with that, Melvin. If you have some ideas, whether it's at Gulfstream Park or any of the other tracks running today, heck, if you even got some thoughts about the big time stakes races this weekend, including the Louisiana Derby, which I will be really studying hard to get the wagering guide together for guaranteed tip sheet a little bit later on. We'll post all that stuff on our social sites down there below when it's ready to go. So you'll be able to capitalize on all that information. Race number 2, Mr. Charles. This one's going to go 1 mile and a 16th on your favorite track in all of America, the Tapeta course at Gulfstream Park. 1 mile and a 16th on the synthetic. 50-50 in terms of running style, so you can be really anywhere, front, middle, or back, and still have a shot to win. Much like the turf race we heard from before, there is a small discount if you wear the 1, the 2, or the 3. Get a little bit of a bonus if there's 4 and out. This time we actually get to go to our simulators, Charles, and see that indeed the 4-horse has a phenomenal chance to get to the lead and a pretty good chance to get a trip it's comfortable with.
Yeah, look at that. I mean, the 4 is basically 70% chance of having that lead at that quarter pole. And you know what? Probably so. It's probably going to happen. The big question is, can he hang on? And then we got for simulation odds. Let's see what we got here. We got the 5. We're saying 7-1, and morning line is 12-1. That's a nice little overlay. And then we got the 7, slightly over 3-1. You got 10-1 overlay, and then the 8, slightly over even money. You got 6-1 overlay.
So if you're looking at which horses that might get the most comfortable trip, that looks like it's going to be the 8 and the 4. Those two should be right in their wheelhouse. Whether or not they can capitalize, we'll find out. If we look at this race, the first time we've seen our way to the winner's circle worksheet here, we see that almost all of these horses, minus there's not even a first-time starter here. Look at all these horses in this race, Charles, that have never been close. NC. These horses have not shown much so far. So what has shown a little bit of anything wants to be middle back, which could really favor that 4-horse. Does have a little bit of a plus advantage over everybody else. The 7's got the most giddy up and go. So if they stay packed up and tight and the 7 is close coming out of that turn, probably has a shot to get the job done. And the funny thing is, I don't have either one of them. Do you at least have the 4-horse?
Yeah, I mean, I think the 7's going to fade a little bit. But the 8-horse is actually my top choice here. It's in his wheelhouse, like you said, in that C zone. This horse drops in class today, likes this distance, fits with these horses, has that tactical speed to sit off of those leaders and take over when he needs to. The 1-horse is my second choice here. Ran 3rd last time out, drops today, gets IRAD, so that's always a good thing. And then the 5-horse is my 3rd choice here. This horse has that tactical speed, just like the 8. And it's bred for this distance and even the turf, which I know we're not on turf today, but it is all weather and, what people say that kind of almost the same. And Chantel is riding this horse, which I think that makes it an interesting for this horse. I think she might put this horse a little closer to the lead.
Yeah, which is what she likes to do.
Yeah. And then my price horse will be that 4. Has the speed, might hang on for a piece of the pie, drops in class today, and you got a hot jockey in the last 7 days with this horse.
And no bets for Charles there. I'm going to start with the 8-horse like you. Paradise Drive just needs to run back a couple of races and be more than good enough to win. But when I look at this race and I kind of broke it down, I said to myself, none of these horses stand above any of the others. So in my opinion, you got to kind of play away from the favorite, which is the 1-horse there, Networking. So the 2nd horse I'm going to go with, you have in your picks too, the 5-horse. Heart Boy, last race really wasn't as bad as it might look as you're perusing the past performances. But if you look through its record, it has the most consistent record in the entire field. Jack Flash, that 3-horse, is the most lightly raced horse in the field, which when you get these races, these sort of races where the horses really haven't done anything, sometimes the lightest race horse is the one to pick because it might have some unknown upside in there. Been getting off to slow starts, And the one thing I like is the trainer put in a 3 furlong workout. And you're a trainer. Why would you give a horse a 3 furlong workout?
To do exactly what you think, to put speed into them, to make them think that they got to run a little harder and a little faster.
And I think that's what you'll see out of Jack Flash, a little bit more Jack Flash. Yes, 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 coming out of the gate. Little Rolling Stones reference there for you, Charles.
Yeah, yeah.
Finally, the number one
That was my
networking.
nickname in high school. I was so fast. So
Jumping Jack Flash. Let's see. Who else I could think of a Rolling Stones song that you might be? I don't know. I'll think about that and come up with
that I might be.
Yes. Okay. Network. All right. So you got the favorite here, networking. We'll take Irad. We'll take the favorite. But I'm not going to put him in the top of my trifecta. I'm going to put him in the middle. He's going to have to finish second. I'm going to go 3, 5, 8 with the 1, 3, 5, 7, and 8 with the 3, 5, 8 to close out my trifecta for the second race in there. Let's see. Race number 1, they got 2 minutes to go. So that really means 7 minutes at Gulfstream Park, Charles. So we will have time to do race number 3 if we go through kind of quickly. Race 3 is 6 furlongs. Optional claiming 16,000. The purse is 30 grand. Profile of a 6 furlong dirt winner in South Florida favors early speed. 36% of those horses, Charles, go wire to wire. You do have a small inside 3 bias here, but post 4 and out are close to par. So post position is not a deal killer, but you want to be fast. You want to probably be really fast. And when the gates open, the fastest is going to be that single that you like that we talked about. He ain't going off at 1 to 4, folks.
No. Yeah, it's yeah.
I mean, he might go off at 1 to 4, but he's not going off at 7 to 5.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, yeah, you're not going to get much on price wise on this horse. I singled him in my pick 5. I got a single here for my pick 3 with F7. The 7's got an 80%, over 80% chance of having that lead. And look at the comfort zone, over 80% again, too. So you look at the simulation odds. It's saying it should be about what, 1 to 5, right in that ballpark.
Well, half of win, but 1 to 2.
Yeah, 1 to 2. Okay, so yeah, and that's where it's probably going to end up at.
So what that basically says is, even though it's the favorite, if it goes off at 4 to 5,
it's still
favorite. Still betting it makes sense. And I know there's a lot of people who talk about value and and how they define value is a little bit different. I know some people define value as 5 to 1 or 4 to 1 or 3 to 1 and up. In this, just from a probability standpoint, what value would be is paying less for something that costs more, right? So like getting something on sale at Kmart, or they're not even in business anymore, Target or Walmart. All right. So as far as our way to the winner circle worksheet is concerned, in race number 3, the 3 horse is not going to be a part of the show, nor is the 2, which I think it kind of accentuates, because the 3 was the only other speed in here. That's going to accentuate what the 7 can bring to the table. I actually put less stress on the 7, which means you get to the lead and really have a hard time chasing it down. Maybe the 6 is the one that can do it. I don't know if that'll be the case, but I think the 7's up front. The 7 probably takes some wire to wire, Charles, and that's the way you see it.
Yeah, it's good night. I mean, the gates are open, and in it, you might as well just put the stamp of results on there. The 7's the winner. Won last 3 times out, has all the speed. And the only reason this horse might lose is if the gate stays closed. That's it. I'm going to just go out and say that. So the 6 horse is my second choice. Tactical speed, ran second last 2 times. Does get Irad. That might get him up there for the exotics. And then the 1 horse is my third choice. Won last time out. Claim last time out. Trainer gets 30% after the claim. And then that 4 is my price horse in this race. He's got some tactical speed, but more on the closing side. But he fits with this group.
So we'll get back to our picks. Well, you can go ahead and tell us, because they're still loading. They haven't all got in yet. But let's go back to race number 1, and we'll go back to your picks and my reasons for my thoughts in race number 3. Again, this is a bunch of first-time starters in here. Really didn't get a chance. We couldn't do any of the simulation stuff or the comfort zone stuff simply because there's not enough data in there, and you can't divide by 0. You get all these crazy errors in Excel. If there's just 1 or 2 horses that are making a first start or have limited data, I'll just take the averages in there, because you still want to get the picture on the 90% of the race. But in this case, we couldn't do that. As it stands right now, that 3 horse, Cumberland Falls, that one is your favorite. 4 to 1 morning line, down to 7 to 5 right now. The next closest on the board looks like that 1 horse, Charles. That is Harmonia at 5 to 1. Next up is the 11 at 6-1, which is the way too early horse. The 7 looks, oh, 2 horses in there too. Kentucky Kiss. You're from Kentucky. You should have taken that one. And then the 7 horses in there, Ransom Style. The 10 and the 10 here of our picks being the longest shot at 25-1. And you have your 5 horse, your top pick, about to go off at 17-1. So let's hope it goes well.
Well,
I have the 11 in there, so let's see what this can work out for. How about
for my pick 5? I have 5 horses, so yeah.
So how about we go like this? How about we go 7, and then you're 11, so 7, 11, and then 10. 7, 11, 10. Let's hope for that trifecta, Charles.
Okay.
So we get 7, 11, 10. You got a good horse, 6-1 to start off your pick 5, and I'm going to have a trifecta that goes ahead and just blows it up for the entire day. Some of these babies don't want to go in right now, Charles. The 8 horses say not today, folks.
Yeah, the 8's kind of refusing just a little bit. No big deal.
Yes, Mi Corazon does not have the heart right now to get into the gate. Corazon, I think, means heart in Spanish, right?
Correct.
Yes. So the 9 is just kind of patiently circling. Like, would you get your rear end in there already so I can go in?
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like they got the 8 in because the 9 is now heading for the gates. Going in without much of a no fight. He's well trained, ready to go. 10 horse up next. It looks like they get the 10 and the 11 to go. Looks like the 4 might not have been in yet either. Looking at the screen, it's taking a bit to get all these horses in there. Here comes the 10 horse, my ancient relic at 25-1. That's the one. Let's hope that baby wins, Charles. Well, no, we don't want that one to win. We settled on the 7 being the winner. Do we? The 7 would be the one that.
Yeah, the turf doesn't look too good.
And they have the rail off. Well, the 2 horse Kentucky Kiss has sped off to the lead, but he's joined by the 7 horse in there. That is Ransom Style. You got looks to me like you got the 11 going way wide, way too early. Oh, those 2 horses got pushed way out coming out of the turn. Kind of hard to tell who they were. Maybe the 10 horse. Or is that the 3 horse that's running out there all rank? No, that's the 10 horse. That's the
10.
He's all full of himself and ready to go, Charles. You can see that, right?
Oh, my God. He's tossing his head bad.
Yes, he wants to go. The 3 horse got the favorite. Looks like it's in an ideal position right up on the rail. So you got the 2, the 11, the 10, and the 3. But that 10 horse has a lot of energy.
That 7's in a really good spot right now.
Yeah, the 10 horse has a lot of energy, though. You could see the jockeys fighting like hell with that horse. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To keep him calm. The 7's definitely in a good position, but there's really not a whole lot of space between all of the horses. Maybe 5 lengths separating the front to the back, except you got that 6 horse or one of those horses way back there. So out of the turn they come. The 2 continues to lead. As you mentioned, that 7 horse, Charles, is in good position, making a strong advance up on the outside. So he's got some good going on there. That 10 horse has decided to call it.
Flying, by the way, from the back.
He decided to call it a day. And here they come down the stretch. The 2 horse continues to lead on the lead. It looks like the 11 horse is going to make some ground on him. So it's going to be pretty close. The 6 horse on the outside. But I think that 2 horse is going to carry him wire to wire, Charles. That's the way it's going to go. It's going to go 2, 6, and then tough to tell who's in between the horses. Kentucky Kiss, Starship Aurora, and then I'm not sure who's in the middle. Maybe the 2 horse.
265, I think.
265.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
I think
that's neither one of us had the 2, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a tough race right there. It was just a tough race to handicap, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, there was too many first-time starters. You have no.
And Scary Creations, good to see you. You like the 2 in race number 1. Too bad I was calling the race. I would have put that up there before the get-go right there, right? Michael Nielsen, he loves Kentucky.
That's right. Who doesn't love Kentucky is the next question.
People from Tennessee, probably.
We all love Kentucky.
All right. So let's go back to race number 3 now, Charles, and then go ahead. Good call, Scary. Anything else that you like out there today, let us know, man. You always seem to be right on top of things at Gulfstream Park, one of your favorite places to play. In the comments, Scary, if you could, write down in the comments what you liked about it so other folks couldn't leave Javier off the turf before the Ortizes. He used to be the best. Okay. that was your reason behind it. Good. So now we know. So when you're betting at Gulfstream Park, make sure you have Javier on the grass. Reminds me of one time when we were doing some stuff at Santa Anita, I think it was, and for whatever reason, one horse didn't make the picks, and it won. It went off at a decent price, and we got an email. Come on, man! Everybody knows you played D'Amato on the grass in Santa Anita. So hey, however you find a winner, you find one, right?
Yeah, there's some trainers that you just know that are good with turf horses, and same thing with jockeys.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, there's certain ones that you always got to lean that way.
Well, you can find all that information pretty easily here. I'll pull it up for you. If you go to Equibase, right? Let's pull it up real quick. A little bit of resource availability in case you didn't know that was out there. And we obviously don't have any relationship with the folks at Equibase, although we're trying. So if anybody knows people at Equibase or Brisnet, please have them contact us. But if you go down to here, you'll see you go to statistics. In the other column, meet stats. If you click on that, meet stats, you can put up a track in here. So let's go ahead and pick up Gulfstream Park. And then where is Gulfstream in here? Gulfstream GP. It's the current meet, and they have a lot of other meets in there. And when you open it up, you can see exactly who's doing what in these different categories. So we talked about, let's see, why is it all the way down there? So we got jockey stats on the turf course. IRAD, 46 wins in 163. There you got Javier, 16 wins in 128 races, 34% of the time in the money, 12.5% of the time winning. And it breaks it down by distance and surface. So you have sprints, and then you also have routes, and then you have turf, and you also have dirt. And I don't know if they have Tapeta here or not, but they might. I haven't looked at that in a bit. So
they probably do because it's at Gulfstream, yes.
So you can catch that over at Equibase. You go to the statistics, and then you click on other, and then you click on meet stats, and you can get all of that information. It's all available to you, all free at Equibase. Race 3 for me, that 7-horse Concrete Glory. I mean, it's its race to lose, so to speak, right? And interestingly, it ran faster fractions at 7 furlongs than it did in the previous start at 6 furlongs. So it's going to move back to 6 furlongs. Something you like, Charles, when a horse shows speed at a longer distance and then cuts back. And then with the 3-horse scratching, it gets an additional boost. Everything is broken this horse's way, but the odds are going to be low. Proverb, first off the claim for trainer Safi Joseph Jr., wins at 30%. And the record says this horse should be better in the second start after a layoff. Number 6, Caramel Chip. Couldn't beat the 7 in the past 2 starts. It did get a little bit closer at 7 furlongs than it did at 6 furlongs. So I think going back to 6 furlongs doesn't help Caramel Chip's chances at all. Maybe IRAD makes the difference. I personally don't think so. And then finally, between the 5 and the 4, they both have almost exactly the same numbers. So why not take the 20-1 shot over the 4-1 shot? It seems to me if they both look the same, take the higher payouts. I'm going to try to backdoor this 7-horse, and maybe hopefully, like Charles mentioned, the gates don't open at all for this guy. I'm going to do $1 key, exact the key box with the 1 over the 4, 5, 6, and 7, which is basically 1 all.
Well, the gates, it has not opened. It has happened. So,
well, or the assistant starter sometimes hangs on to the reins a little bit longer, and the horse doesn't. It comes out with its head turned. Or it stumbles, clips heels. I mean, there's 1,000,001 different things that could happen, right?
Right.
Race number 4 is where we're going to go off to now. And in race number 4, Charles, they're going to run 5 furlongs on the all-weather track that's synthetic Tapeta, where apparently jockeys tell us you cannot hear anything. It's silent. 5 furlongs on the all-weather track for this claiming $20,000 race with a purse of 28. Does favor early speed. 34% of the horses take the field from wire to wire. The Royal Horse, Tempora, gets a little bit of a discount. Again, not a deal killer at all. Post positions 2 and out are fair. Speed is going to make a difference in race number 4, Charles, and it looks like a couple of them. Flip My ID. I think Flip My ID is not in this race, though.
Yeah, I was going to say the 2 is scratched.
Yeah, I forgot to take the scratches out today.
Yeah,
so
he was definitely a big speed factor in here. So, I mean, I kind of leaves it to the 7 a little bit. I think he's going to have a little bit easier chance to get that lead on the quarter pole. Right now it says 28%, but I'm going to put it probably a lot closer to 48 or 50. So for that horse now, with the 2 being out. Simulation odds it looks like, the three itself, we're saying 5 to 1. You got 15 to 1 morning line. Nice overlay, not bad. And then the four, um, just slightly under 5 to 1. We got morning line of 8 to 1. So those two are probably your overlays in this race.
Yeah, indeed. And then there's drink. I just said indeed. Go out and get a drink. You're halfway hammered. In race number 4, look at this, Charles. 2 is out. Everybody wants to be on the lead. This is the way they've shown the best. This race is going to be blazing when the gates open. All but the 4 have similar early pace and late pace in here. The 3 horse is the one that has the most late legs of all of these starters. Who knows if it's going to be discouraged or not, if it's not on the lead where it's run its best. The 5 horse could look like absolute garbage on paper, but if all of these guys go out and really blast, it's going to at least pass a few tiring rivals and have a really good shot to finish in the exacta or trifecta. The worst, maybe the back end of the superfecta. All right, Charles. So how do you think this race is going to play out?
Well, I think that the 5 does have a shot here. I mean, the 7 is my top choice. This horse has speed, drops in class, and second start after a layoff. It gets IRAD. So I think that is the horse to beat and catch. But that 5 has that tactical speed, like you said, more on the closing side of it. But he's got the bug boy, Morales. Morales is doing okay for a beginner. He's got the 7-pound allowance off. So, he's going to be flying at these guys at the end. So he fits in this group. The 1 horse is my third choice here. It has some speed, like you've shown. Claim last time out. Trainer gets 12% first after a claim, not extremely high, but he does get some results. And then my price horse here will be that 6, second start after a layoff. Ran third last time out, and definitely, as you said, as everybody except for the 5 has the speed and wants to go to the front.
And they're all going to be a big wall of sprinters up front. It went 2, 6, 11, and 3 in the opener there. The 5 was definitely making some ground up, but it had to go way wide. Maybe one you want to circle for start number 2 in your horses to watch list. That exacta 2, 6, $70 for $1. 50-cent try, 2, 6, 11 paid over $200, 207.70. And I kind of thought that's what you'd get out of that race. It's just a matter of putting the right horses together. And then the superfecta for a dime, 2, 6, 11, and 13 paid $114.73. How about that, Charles?
Mm-hmm.
Not bad at all. In race 4, I like to start off with the 6 horse in here, Charles. The one you ended with is the one I'm going to start with. Opiango. I probably screwed that one up. As I was going through this race, the horse I wanted to bet was the 2 horse in here because it was the only barn that's not like ice cold. It's frigid, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like Chicago in March when it's supposed to be warm enough to golf and you can't get out of the house. But Scooter Davis, 0 for 5 on the year at Gulfstream Park, but put out 59 horses so far this year and winning at 31%. So horses stepping up in class should be close to the front, like all of them at the start. The question is, where will he be at the end? Should get a very comfortable trip in here with the 2 horse out. Looks to me like the 6 and the 7 are going to get the best trips. Tempora, the 1 horse, my second choice, probably the most consistent on all weather. All 4 races on the synthetic so far would likely be good enough to win here, and does have a really nice workout in between races. Number 5, Adios, babe. It's another horse that might actually be better, or other horses in here might actually be better. But as we talked about in the Way to the Winner's Circle worksheet, you just have a wall of speed. This one's going to, unless they go really slow, should be able to pick off 2 or 3, maybe 4 horses coming down the stretch as they tire, battling for that lead. And number 7, you like apples? You like these apples? This one's taking a significant price drop in the second race off a break and does indeed flip to Irad Ortiz. Again, trifecta for me, 1, 5, 6 over the 1, 4, 5, 6, and 7 over the 1, 5, and 7. Going to try to beat. I think the 7's going to be your likely favorite in here, and I got him rated 4th, Charles.
Yeah, but like you said, it's just tons of speed in here. So, that's why on my pick 5, I went with my top 3 picks in here. So,
yeah, I mean, that's going to be, like I said, this card to me in a lot of places, man, it's just really kind of hard to find any one thing that jumps off the page. Although Scary Creations did pull off that too in the opener at a decent price at 5 to 1. So nice $12 horse to get started. In race 5 at Gulfstream Park, they're going to run a mile and a 16th on the turf, claiming 20,000 non-winners to lifetime. The purse here is $28,000. A mile and a 16th. It doesn't matter what sort of running style you have. You can win from anywhere on the track. So you don't have to worry about being out early, middle, or back. Your horse will still have a chance. We saw in that first race there, however, speed did hold up, although some closers did try to make it close at the end. There is a rail edge. So Love My Job could do a little better than the odds show. 2 and out. Play fair, Charles. Again, we saw speed in that first leg hold up. In race number 5, do we have any scratches? It doesn't look like we have any scratches in here, Charles, but it sure looks like that one horse, Love My Job, has the best chance to be on the lead.
Yeah, and he probably will have the lead at the quarter pole, around 37% chance. I just don't know if he's going to hang on to that lead. And, there's a couple other horses, the 8 and the 9, even though the 9 is more of a closer aspect of it. But, this horse does have some speed. So if the one's gate doesn't open or something like that happens, he could find himself on the lead. And then you have the simulation odds here. We got the 4, slightly over even money, and the morning line says 5-1. That's a nice little overlay. And that 9, like I said, the 9 has that questionable speed or in closing, over 3-1, and the morning line is 8-1.
Yeah, and looking at that 4 horse, your top pick, Charles, also not only is it a simulated odd overlay, but it looks like it has second best chance to get a most favorable trip in our C zone over there. 47% chance it's going to be in its wheelhouse. In race number 5, much like the first race we saw there wasn't a whole lot of speed up in the front part there, Charles. So maybe you get to the front, the 4 and the 8. Those 2 could be your pace setters, but all but the 2 have very similar early speed numbers. There's really not a lot of speed in this race at all. All but the 3, 1, and 8 have similar late pace numbers. So that means the 4 is probably the one that has a shot to go wire to wire. That's the one you have on the top of your picks, Charles. And is that the one? Is that the way you think it's going to get the job done?
Yeah, I think he's going to be sitting very close. I think the 4 and the 9 are going to sit very close on the 1. I mean, I think the 1 overall is going to have the lead, but I think the 4 and the 9 are going to sit right on him and actually push him to go back at one point. I like the 4 winning this race. He adds blinkers today, which is going to have him concentrate just a little bit more. That's why I think he's going to be speed forward a little bit more. Trainer gets 11% when he puts the blinkers back on. So he did run with him in the past, and he did okay with them. And then the 9 is my second choice here. He drops in class today. He's going to be sitting like second or third, like I said, but he's got a good closing kick. Jockey gets 16% overall. And then that 6 horse is my third choice here. Ran third last time out. Tactical speed, claim last time out. So that horse is interesting. And then my price horse in here will be the 5. He did win last time out. Trainer gets 24% second time on the turf with horses.
Let's rewind real quick to race number 4 again. Scary Creation saying he likes the 4 horse here. Strong Silence. Again, one that's a little bit of an overlay here. 8-1 morning line odds. Looks like it should be maybe closer to 9-2, 5-1. So maybe a little bit of value, especially if you catch that horse at around at 8-1. You're absolutely getting some value there. It's a good play. Pick 3 here. In this race, it looks like you're going to go with, starting in race number 2, the pick 3, with the 1, 4. Is that 1, 4, and 1? So he's going to go really ice cold, starting in race 2, 1, 4, 1 in race number 2 for Christopher D'Souza. Good luck with that. I like those really strong takes in there. In this race here, Charles, where are we in race 5, right? In race number 5, I am a fan of the 5 horse. You mentioned that the horse won its last race. And again, I've been brushing up on some old stuff that I kind of, you get into habits and you forget things you used to do. And Stephen Davidovic's book, Betting Thoroughbreds, kind of reading it again. And one of the things that reminded me to do is go back and look at the full charts again. You can find those on Equibase. So you pop in the name of a horse in there. And then you can just look at the chart from its most recent race. I was going to put it up in there, but I don't have a horse name to put in there. So in any case, I did that. And looking back, because I'm not the biggest fan, horses coming out of their maiden win and then moving up in class. But reconnecting last time out, listen to this trip, Charles, was bumped at the beginning of the race. And then it clipped heels, right? And then it was forced wide around all the turns and still won. So I think when you look at the race on paper and you look at the numbers, you say to yourself, well, they don't look all that impressive coming out in the maiden win. But if you add in all that trouble that horse had, Charles, you got to think that those numbers would have been even better. So I think a clean trip out of reconnecting, and this horse could go off at a decent price, 8-1 morning line. Maybe some people shy away off the maiden claiming win, not the best speed number relative to the rest of this field, but a little bit deeper digging, and you think that this horse probably ran a phenomenal race to go through all that trouble and still win. Number 7, Tapple Cider, limited resume, says this one will do well in your favorite handicapping angle, Charles, which is what?
The third start after a layoff.
Indeed. Number 9, take another drink. Number 9, Lynn Peer. The resume doesn't reflect her success on turf. The horse is no more than 1.5 lengths from winning the last 4 races on grass at 7.5 furlongs or longer. Finally, number 6, Sister Nell. Horse's internal race numbers were better from the beginning to the middle to the end of its last race. And another one, Charles, that's making the classic
third start after a layoff.
And I'm going to do a pick 3 here. I'm going to single that 5 horse off of that very difficult trip. Cross my fingers that it gets a better trip, and we see the best version of reconnecting today with the 3, 6, 7, 8, with the 2, 4, 6, 7, and 8 in the back end. So I'm hoping to catch price on that pick 3 for $10. I mean, the 5 is obviously going to be the key to all that for me, Charles. But if it does come to pass, it's going to be a nice payer right there. In the next race for us, we're going to move forward to race number 6 because we still have some time before the second race kicks off at Gulfstream Park. This one is 5 furlongs. Again, a short sprint, all weather, maiden claiming, but pretty much bottom of the barrel at Gulfstream Park. The purse is $21,000 though, so still running for a little bit of change, enough to pay some bills, I think, for the trainers and the owners. 5 furlongs on the all weather does favor early speed. 34% of the horses go wire to wire. Small rail discount. Everything else plays kind of fair, Charles. In race number 6, I think the 10 horse is out, right? That's the only one that's out in race number 6, if I remember correctly.
The 10 is out, yes.
And that was one I was going to have in my picks, but I can't do it now. Yeah. So, all right, we'll forget that guy then, Charles. Looks like a lot of horses are going to get trips that they're comfortable with, but the 7's going to lead them all.
Yeah, they're all going to be comfortable where they're going to be at. The 7's got a 48% chance of having that lead. And then, but I don't see really anybody really pushing him until after the quarter pole. Maybe the 2 might try a loop there at the quarter pole, but I don't see it. And then when it comes to simulations odds, we got that 3, slightly under 2-1. We got over 4.5-1 morning line. Excuse me. And then the 7, we have slightly under 3-1 on this horse. Now here's an overlay. Morning line is 20-1.
It should be 5-2. How about that?
Yeah, that's very interesting. Excuse me. And then the 11, 10-1, and the morning line is 20-1.
So rewinding back to race number 4, Melvin. He's got his pick 6. Let's go, Rich. And that's Charles over there. I know, Terry's the better looking one of the 2, but what can you do? We got the 7 in race number 4. I think that's where it starts off, is that single. The 3, 4, 6, 7, 9, 3, 6, 9. Going to single the 4. That one's a rocket ship, he says. 1, 3, 7, and then 4, 9, or he means to the moon, like those meme stocks. We got meme horse racing picks, Charles. That would be we should come up with something to kind of play off of that, right?
Yeah,
like those Wall Street guys on Reddit, some to the moon horses. 6 horse Papa Cats should go to the moon. This guy's been close, and closer to finally getting through on that maiden score. He's raced 6 times, has 4 seconds into third in there. But I'm not 100% sure. Otherwise, this one might be a single that all weather is the right surface for this guy. Number 3, can't be broken. It is the lone PC horse in this field. Oh, we didn't go through. I'm just doing my picks here, Charles. So I kind of broke the thing here. But anyway, professional hanger, though, 2nd or 3rd, and usually not by much in 7 of its last 12 races. Number 7, that Toyi does have explosive early pace numbers through the first half mile of its last race and then faded. Going to cut back from 7.5 furlongs on the turf to 5 furlongs on the all weather. Really decent 3 furlong workout between races. There's no question this one's going to pop out of the gate again. Can it hold on? And then finally, going to take a little bit of a crazy flyer here, which is in your pick, so I know Charles is in my computer. Dropping in class if it can rewind back to its debut, it'd be good enough to win here. First off the break, so the best race the horse had was its debut. So coming off the bench, fresh, does look like the way to win for this one. And it's also coming off one of its best works. So I know I broke the order here, Charles. I hope I don't break our picks, but give us your thoughts.
Yeah, and I got to start my pick 4 here, and I did open it up there. I took my top 4 and plus another horse there. I took, the 2, the 3, the 6, and the 7. So I had to throw in your 7 that you had. I mean, I really think it's a 5-horse race in a sense. As long as that 6, I mean, I'm rooting against the 6 a little bit on that aspect because he's the favorite. But I don't like. I'm agreeing with you on that. I don't know about the all-weather thing. And then the second leg, I'm going just the 2, singling out that 2. Another one of my top picks of the day. And then the third leg is another one of my top picks of the day, the 7. And then I'm finishing off with my top 4 picks.
I also am going to do a pick 4, the 3, 6, 7 with the 2, 8, with the 3, 5, 7, with the 7, 8, and 11 in that last leg of the day. And real quick, in race number 6, the way that race shapes up, again, you have horses that want to be 10 horses out. You have most of your horses that want to be middle back, a couple of them that have never been close, including the 7 horse who made it into my picks, simply because it has a super explosive early pace. We saw yesterday with Chantel on a horse that had a very similar type history. The MO was blast out to the lead and then fade. Well, Chantel's horse was 10-1 morning line, got bet down to 8-5. So the bettors obviously knew, the people at the track obviously knew that horse had some improvement on the grounds, and they backed that one. 1 and the 2 should be your front runners in that race right there. A couple horses in here, though, that kind of, you got the 3, the 5, and the 11 that are kind of standalone, different running styles than everybody else. Those two could, that trio could get trips that fit their favor as well. All right, so we have approximately, well, they say 1 minute to post over there.
Yeah, going back to the 6th race, that 6 horse, he's been claimed 5 times out of 6 starts.
Mm-hmm.
And they still, they're still in the same boat where, they are with this horse. So, I mean, it's interesting that people keep on seeing value and claiming this horse, and they keep it at the same level. So that's another reason why, yeah, I still picked it first, but it makes me question a lot of things because there's other races in there that horse should have won.
And you also look over here, the all-weather, right? It's finished 3rd and 3 times out with a 2nd and 3rd, so 2 out of 3 in the money there. But the all-weather numbers back in here, one was at Woodbine, and the last one was at 1 mile and 70 yards. So maybe the cut back in distance here is goes back to some of that front speed, has a little bit more endurance off of the mile and a 70 yards last time out, so able to carry its speed longer. We'll see if indeed that is the case. At Gulfstream so far, the horse has been second in 3 times in 4 races. So I think a lot of people see those numbers and figure at $12.50 they can claim it, run it in a race for, what is it, a purse of $21,000?
Well, I mean, if you finish, if you claim it and you finish second and it gets claimed again, you made a good little payday. I mean, especially if you bring the horse back within 2.5, 3 weeks. And if you win, if you're the one that claims it and wins and no one claims it back, now you're sitting in a really good spot. You just bring it right back you could even bring it back at $7,500 and you're going for the purse and the sale at the same time. You're in a good spot with that horse if you get it, but it just made it interesting. 5 out of 6 races that people went after it.
So Scary Creation says race number 3, $4 exacta box, 2, 3 maiden special weight dropper, biggest drop in the game. Yes, indeed. It is the biggest. 4, maybe Lone Speed. Not in love with it, but we'll play 3 exacta box, couple dollars to win on both. That is in race number 3. 4 and the, what is it going to be? 2 or 3? $4 exacta box race 2. The number 3 is this coming up in the second race right here? So I'm a little confused on the wording there, and that's not hard to do. So you like in here the maiden special weight dropper, Jack Flash coming in, number 4, maybe 4, speed. Yeah, that's what it looks like. The 3 and the 4, which I have the 3, you have the 4, and it looks to me like 3 and 4 race number 2. Fantastic, thank you.
Yeah,
it's at times me and reading comprehension, they usually go together, Charles, but sometimes there's more of a disconnect as you get a little bit older. So they're all starting to line up in here. The one horse, your second pick, which is my fourth pick in here, networking again. This race is one that I feel like is wide open. And it didn't make sense to me to back the favorite in this race because it really did not stand out to me as one that is definitely not at 4 to 5. You see our simulated odds say that horse should be closer to 5 to 1. And you're paying 90 cents for something that you're paying $5 for something that's worth 90 cents, according to our simulated odds. In race number 2, let's see how our horses stack up here. Charles, in race number 2, in terms of odds, the 8 horse right now, that one is 9 to 2. It's one of the, I think it's the second favorite. And then you have the 4 horse in there, a Frosted Bird as the third choice. The 3 horses, a little bit antsy in the gates right there, Jack Flash. And according to the, there you go, the 4 horse, the 3 horse did not get off to a very good start, kind of went straight to the back and kind of hanging out back there. So he's a little bit off the pace. Fortunately, he has a mile and a 16th to catch up, and speed doesn't really win at a mile and a 16th. The 2 horse on the lead kind of drifting out a little bit in the lane, pushing some of the horses wide through the turn. The 9 horse Enzo's World said, you know what, enough for this pace. I'm going to come up front and set the tone. This is a horse that, well, we didn't think it would have much of a shot to get to the lead, but decided to take the lead today. Opening quarter in 24.12. You have on the outside of the 2 horse, that 4 horse there, Frosted Bird, doing pretty well. And out behind them, the 8 horse, Paradise Drive, is in 4th place. You have a trio of horses, the 1, Networking, the 6, Screen Door, and Luscious Dancer, right behind that pack. And then the 6, the 5, and the 3 in the back, opening half in almost 49 seconds. So the 9 getting away with a slower second half. And you have now the jockey is asking the 4 horse, Frostbird, for a little bit more, although the 9 hasn't been asked for anything. So I do think that hurts the 4's chances. The 2 horse is starting to make a move up on the rail there. I Am the Game, Charles. Looks to me like the one that they're all going to have to beat, but he just kind of forced his way through with the 4. The 2 and the 4 jockeys exchanged some words there. So let's see if they exchange some words in the locker room afterwards and go a la Paco and Irad. I don't know who's in there. So this one's going to go 2, and then the 8 horse is going to come in second, it looks like, Charles, and then the 1 horse is going to come up for third. 2, 8, maybe 4, 1, 2, 8, 4, 1. Again, back-to-back 2. So maybe just play the 2s today, folks, and you're going to come out ahead. I Am the Game, Paco Lopez. Well, he was having words with whoever was
he
that
was.
other horse.
Yeah, it was 2, 8, 4, a 1, 4.
Who did he had to power his way through who? Looks like he and the 9 are definitely having a conversation right now. Enzo's World, who is written by Samuel Camacho Jr., coming up from Tampa Bay Downs today. So Paco and Sammy having words. Let's see if that turns into anything.
Yeah, Paco is not a fighter.
Your typing got me confused. Nah, it doesn't take much to get me confused, to be honest with you, Scary. My typing confuses the hell out of me. And race number 7, I like race 7 for a win bet, $50. Which horse, though? Which one's going to go to the moon in race number 7? Let us know on that. Which race number are we on right now anyway, Charles?
We're on race 7.
All right, perfect. So in race number 7, Melvin's going to share with us who he has a nice $50 idea on. And then we're also going to share with you what we think about that race in terms of how it sets up and all that good stuff. In race number 7, Charles, they are going to run. Let me pull it up on the screen. 7 furlongs. I think it's the only 7 furlong race on the card today. Optional claiming $50,000. And if I remember, there's only 1 horse in here. I think it's the 8 horse. That is the only one in here that isn't for a price today. That isn't for the price. Indeed, that is the 8 horse. You see right there, 50 grand, meaning this one is indeed in for to be claimed if somebody so chooses. Purse is $42,000.
Open up your wallet, Rich.
Well, open up yours, Charles. You just came back from Vegas and you killed it with all the basketball games. So you probably got that money just laying around on the dresser right now.
I just blew my nose with it just a few seconds ago.
Yes, we're going to see some videos from you online with the hundos, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Race number 7, 7 furlongs, early speed wins 27% of the time. It goes gate to wire. Do get a little bit of a rail discount. So a Card Otuk could struggle a bit. 2 through 7 play fair. 8 and out, you do get a bonus. That does come into play here because there are 8 horses in this field today, Charles. There are no scratches in race 7, best I can tell. And it looks like plenty of them will get comfortable trips, but all the speed's on the outside.
Yeah, the 7's got a slightly over 50% to have that lead at the quarter pole, and probably so. But the 8 will have something to say about that. Around 24%. And actually that 8 probably not a bad claim, Rich. So I would still think about opening up that wallet. Let the mods out.
Let it rain on horses.
Yeah. But anyway, then when it comes to simulation odds, right here we're looking at the 4. Slightly over 3-1, and the 8-1 on the morning line. Not a bad overlay. And then you got that 8, slightly over 3-1. You got 6-1 morning line. So, there's some interesting things here, but I still think there's a standout in this race.
Indeed. Well, you think the 2's a standout. Let's go back to race number 2. Look at that 2 horse. Yeah, he didn't really show much in there in terms of the season or the lead. So a little bit of an upsetting horse in there. So a little bit against the trend, so to speak. In race number 7, Melvin says he really likes the 4 horse. He's going to put $50 on that guy to win. This race, as you look at the shape, everybody wants to be middle forward. So there's a good chance that this one is going to get hot. And if that's the case, Melvin, your horse could be in the driver's seat because it does have the most late pace and the best combination of early speed and late speed. The 8, the 5, and the 7, they're boxed off. So they're the ones that are going to pull the cart when the gates open. Charles, who's going to take the big check when they hit the winner's circle?
Sorry, Melvin, the 2.
Ooh.
That's all I can say. The 2, I like the 2 a lot in this race. This horse is going to drops in class, has the speed. If you just toss out that last race, it's game over on this race. Adds Lasix today. Trainer gets 17% when he rests them, 46 plus days. So I really like this horse a lot here. That 8 horse, the one that you're going to probably go out there and drop a claim on, drops today. Adds Lasix today. Trainer gets 23% when you rest them up, 46 plus days. This horse has got a little tactical speed, so he could be a little dangerous in here. And then the 7 horse is my third choice here. Drops today, adds Lasix just like the others. Trainer gets 24% when you rest them 90 plus days. Then, Melvin, I'll take your 4 horse as my price horse today. This horse was impressive last time. Won last time, well bet in his only race. So he's a maiden going against winners. Definitely a good-looking horse on paper, but trainer gets 22% overall. So that's my price horse, but you're going to have to meet that too.
I wonder if they're going to DQ this 2 horse. They haven't made it official yet. They just put Paco back up on there. He definitely infringed on the 4 horses finish, I think. So if the stewards play by their book, there's a shot that 2 horse could get knocked down, which would open up. I would actually hit the trifecta then if that's the case. I don't like to backdoor my way into him. Now they're bringing him into the winner's circle for the picture. So they're going to let him slide with that, though. I do think if I were the steward, I'd be inclined to knock him down because I do think it might have been the difference between that 4 horse finishing 3rd and not 4th. But I'm not the one that makes that call. They're a little bit more generous down there at Gulfstream Park. So the 2 horse indeed gets the winner's photo. In the race, there's another drink right there, folks. I'm going to work on getting that done. In the 7th race for me, I like the 8 horse, even though I'm not going to go by him. Maybe I should, Charles. Won her debut with ease. Struggled staying on the front in the next couple of races. Returns after a 2-month break. So I like those horses that win on their debut, kind of struggle a little bit afterwards. They're going to come back again after some time in the barn. So it looks to me like it's one of those horses that likes to run fresh. Also going to get a dose of first-time Lasix to go along with that early speed. Some of the workouts recently have been really sharp. Number 2, at the crossroads, just needs to run back to the previous 2 starts, not that last one. Tired badly late last out, but was 7th race without a break. So it's another one I do think will absolutely benefit from a little bit of time in the barn to get a little R&R. Force's Sweetheart, that 7 horse. I think the debut here would be good enough to win again, much like the 8 horse getting that first shot of Lasix, although The difference for me between the two was the 7-horse. One, first of all, they're both Safi Joseph Jr. horses, but he's putting his go-to jockey on the 8, not on the 7. And the workouts were just blah. And then finally, that 4-horse for you, Melvin, Bondia, was a really tough call for me over the 6-horse, but the debut was really strong. Has some really good workouts since then. But the issue for me is this one's coming in from Tampa Bay Downs. And I've noticed a lot of times that the Tampa Bay Down horses, they post good numbers up there on the Gulf Coast. They come down to the East Coast, to the Atlantic side of the state, to the Gulfstream track, and those numbers kind of regress a little bit. Same sort of thing I see with the Parks and the Penn horses, and why I'm always kind of a little, no matter how good a Penn horse looks at Parks, I always downgrade them. And I just feel like the speed numbers were on par with the others here. And if there is that Tampa to Gulfstream regression, it would really have to improve in this second race. To its good side, though, the workouts have been exceptional getting ready for this race. But they're at Tampa Bay Downs, too. I would have liked to seen a really nice, fast workout at Gulfstream Park. I would have been really sold on the 4 had that happened. So those are my hesitations with that one, if that makes any sense. I'm going to do a trifecta, 2, 7, 8 over to 2, 4, 6, 7, and 8 over to 2, 7, and 8. Charles, you're going to put $20, 20% of your budget on that 2 to win.
Yeah, $20 of my $100 budget's going to win on the 2 here. So yeah, that's where I'm putting it.
That's where he's going to roll. All right, we're going to roll on to race number 8. I was about to get you another shot, but I caught myself before that happened.
Indeed.
All right, there you go. 2 shots. Now you're stumbling. 1 16th miles on the all-weather optional claim, $35,000. The purse here is 86 grand, so they're running for a pretty good chunk of change. 1 16th on that all-weather track. The profile of a winner is one that can run any style, so it doesn't matter where you're at. Although good percentage, 17% go wire to wire. Again, small inside 3 discount, 4 and out. You get a little bit of a bonus. In race number 8, Charles, again, I don't think we get any scratches in here. So we got a full field in this race, and those inside 3 horses will be getting at each other when the gates open and the tapita flies.
Yeah, they're going to be really winging it. The 1 at 35% chance, the 3 at 30, basically 33, 34%. And don't turn your back on that 2. The 2 is going to have some wings too. But I personally think the 1 will be out there winging it. So we'll see how that turns out. And then when it comes to simulation odds, we have the 5, just slightly under 2 to 1, and we got 8 to 1 morning line, so that's not bad. And we got that 7, just slightly under even money, and we got 2 to 1 on the morning line.
Yeah, that 7 again looks like it's going to get an ideal trip for its running style. 75% chance to be in the sweet spot when it runs its best races. In that sweet spot, according to our way to the winner's circle, look at this one here. Every single one of these horses, Charles, has very similar early pace numbers. When you look at some more recent stuff, none of them want to be on the lead. So all these horses are going to be middle back. I think you're probably going to get moderate fractions in this race. All but the 5-horse, when you combine the early speed and the late speed, all have some similar type, from beginning to end numbers. This one, I think, is really wide open. I know that 7-horse is going to go off as a heavy, heavy favorite, but just structurally, it looks to me like every single one of these horses has a chance to win. We both settled on the favorite and a little bit different after that.
Yeah, this 7 is my top choice here. It's going to be tough to beat this horse. This horse has got that tactical speed, like 3rd or 4th, and ran 2nd last time out. Trainer gets 22% second start after a layoff. So this horse should be ready to rock and roll today. The 6 horse is my second choice. If you just toss its last race out, puts him right there in the thick of things here with these guys. Got tactical speed. IRAD's aboard. He's bred for this. So look out for that horse. The 5 is my 3rd choice. Another one with that tactical speed that can sit around 3rd or 4th also. Trainer gets 25% when he takes him from turf to the all-weather. So he fits well with this group. And that 1 horse, which I think will have the lead, he won the last 2 times out, which is great. And he got claimed last time out. So they're moving him up in class. So that's my only I'm a little reserved about that part, but you have to start going up in class to keep on winning, right?
Yeah, you can't
So
run against the chumps constantly. At some
yeah,
point,
you
you got to
can't
go against the
do that.
champs.
So, but he has the right to. He'll be out there in front winging, and who knows? He might want to try to steal this race.
And you're going to put $20 on that and try to steal a chance to double your money if our simulation odds are correct.
Mm-hmm.
In this race that I do think just structurally is very competitive. I really didn't want to put Jazzy T on the front there, but this one is run at this distance, 1.16 miles on the all-weather track, 14 times, 6 wins, 6 seconds and a third. So that math says 13 out of 14. Have no idea what the percentage is in there. Did tie for the top last race speed figure, and one that's likely, according to its CV, to move up in the second start after a layoff. Number 3, Senura. This one's been on the bench for more than a year. But if you look at that workout line, that last workout was a bullet, and now it's going to go back to the track. That was on the Palm Meadows turf. We already talked a little bit about that transition from turf to Tapeta being one that's usually indicative of how a horse will run on the synthetic. That horse has that kind of giddy up and go today. I think it is the class of the field and has a shot to win. Number 5, Lucky Peridot, flipping from turf to all weather, that transition that we spoke about. On the all weather, 3 times out, 2 wins, and both of those came at 1.16 miles on the Tapeta. Again, you can see all of these horses have some very good claims to the winner's circle. And finally, lay the groundwork. The 6 horse won both of the races on all weather and gets IRAD today. So I think literally any horse in this field has a shot to win this race. I'm going to go with a double. I do think the 3 and the 7 are just, if the 3 can run back to its back class, I think that's probably your winner. The bullet workouts getting ready say that should be sharp. Maybe not going to get bet down with that 7 horses record in there, but I'm going to do a double 3-7 with the 4, 7, 8, and 11. And then the last race on the card, my friend, is the 9th race, the nightcap. That one is going to go 7.5 furlongs on the turf, maiden claiming 35 grand. The purse is $35,000. So they line up with each other. And a 7.5 furlong race. This one favors stalkers, which is kind of interesting because if you think about
that'd be you, right? A stalker.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. I got all kinds of restraining orders.
I know you do.
Looking over here, considering that this is where the starting line is right here, and then they're going to go right into that turn, you would think that that would favor speed, Charles, but it actually doesn't. Although 18%, so almost 1 out of 5, do go wire to wire. So if you don't go wire to wire, you better come from off the pace. There is a very strong inside 3 bias, which you can imagine with that early turn. They should get the best positioning when the gates open.
It's because whoever goes to the lead, they really got to gun it. And if you have 2 or 3 horses that are gunning it, to get that lead because that turns right there. That's why only 18% of them only last on the wire because that's it.
Especially if you're the outside speed.
Yeah.
Right?
So there's some stats to that, and you're looking at it. It makes sense, really.
And in the final race, the speed is going to be not necessarily on the outside, but looks like it's going to be in the middle with imposter syndrome. That's what Charles has when he's stealing my picks all the time. And then Jay's Delights should get the trip that it wants. So it should get a delightful trip.
Yeah, both of them are at 31%, getting that lead at the quarter pole. Like you said, there's that turn right away. So they'll probably both be going right at it, and everyone else is going to have to be very smart how they place themselves in that first turn, especially those outside 4 horses. That's going to be really tough. And then simulation odds, we got that 1. Look at that 2-1 going to morning line to 10-1. That's a good overlay. And the 7 slightly a little bit overlay, 3-1 to 4-1. And that's it when it comes to overlays.
Yeah, this race is definitely one that's I think you could put it in the category of wide open as well. For the last time, our way to the winner's circle, you got a couple of trio up here that want to be on the lead. The recency bias doesn't favor that one, though. It favors the 4 and the 5, although those 2 are moving up in class, so perhaps it can kind of dull that effort a little bit. A couple of horses back here that are dropping in class, the 10 and the 12. Their early pace should put them closer to the front than normal, and then dropping in class should give them a little more giddy up and go. A few first-time starters back in here. A lot of times when you see this particular race shape, either on the front or on the back, these guys in the middle end up getting really fantastic trips around the track, Charles. I wouldn't be surprised to see the 3 or the 11 in the winner's circle. I have the 11 in my picks, not the 3. What do you see when it's over?
Well, I do believe this is a tough race, and my last pick 4, I did hit all these my top 4 picks in this race. So in this race, I do like the 7 a little bit on top. Ran second last time out, claimed last time, bred very well. Trainer gets 27% with first after a claim. That's excellent. So that's why I'm pointing with that 7 a little bit on this aspect. The 6 is my second choice here. Ran second last time out. Weaver gets 18% when he runs after 46 plus days off. Weaver is excellent with horses. He has them always in shape. This horse is bred for speed, so look out for that horse. The 8 is my third choice here. Bred for the turf, so take that and on that aspect. And then you got a turf trainer, Clement. Now here we are. We were talking earlier today, a jockey, good on turf. Here's a trainer, a great trainer that he gets winners everywhere. Don't get me wrong, but
he seems to be a turf specialist. I think too, you really have to keep an eye on Christophe Clement when they do those inner turf races up in New York. He seems to really excel at those.
He has it down, and he gets those pedigrees. People know it, and they send those pedigrees to him. So the horses are bred for it, just like this one. This one's bred for the turf. And, so anyway, you got to look out for that horse. And then the 1 horse is my price horse in this race. This horse has some speed, has some that go with them maybe, but that first turn, like I said, blinkers off today. Trainer gets 22% with the blinker off move, so that could be interesting. So they're trying to settle him down maybe because he was probably too focused.
I agree with you. The 7 horse Red's Revenge. This one, though, interesting to me is that the jockey's flipping from Jose to Irad. So I wonder how that conversation went on the phone. What are you doing taking my horse? And anyway, this is our good friend Christopher Parmalou's angle. The horse finished second last time out. So if it weren't for the one that beat it, it would have won already. So hopefully none of the others can beat it in here today. A little bit of overlay. Get a little bit of value on this horse. If indeed it goes off at 4-1, it won't with Irad in the irons. Number 11, Victory Line, is one of a trio of class droppers in here. The horse had a really difficult trip last time out. Funny in the comments, if you look back at those charts, it basically said the horse was wired, like it was all caffeined up or something, and ran wild and crazy wide. I would like to have seen our good friend here, Kent Sweezy, add blinkers or something to calm this guy down. But a better trip for this 11 horse should put it in contention. Number 8, Given to Fly. You mentioned Christophe Clement. This horse does have some really strong grass breeding. The last workout for this first-time starter was really good. But what kind of startles me a little bit, I think they paid like $160,000 for the horse, and then it was like $125,000 to breed it with the mare. And yet it's debuting in a maiden claiming $35,000. That almost smells like cutting our losses to me, Charles.
Yeah,
what do you think?
Well, to me, it does say that the horse has some kind of problem, and it doesn't mean that the horse cannot run. It's just probably a nagging injury, and it could be a foot injury, that's not a good thing to have if it's nagging, or it could be any kind of ankle or knee or anything like that comes back, flares up every once in a while. So yeah, it could be something like that along those lines.
Yeah, it does kind of concern me. And that $35,000 claiming price, $35,000 for the winner, the split, to get 60% or something like that.
Yeah.
That does really kind of, if it had debuted at maiden special weight and then moved down, because it didn't look like it can be competitive at that level, but debuting a horse with strong pedigree that you paid, 8 times what you're going to get for it if the thing wins is kind of that. I think it'll get claimed for sure, right? Because of how much somebody spent on it to begin with.
Right. And then, this race, usually he would do, like you said, he would put them in a special maiden first to see if they have true talent. Because sometimes horses in the morning, you go, oh, this horse doesn't have talent. They just don't care about the morning. They're like some people, or like your kids don't want to get up and go to school. It's sort of the same thing. But, the kid all of a sudden turns out to be a genius when they turn 22, and They're working for Google. I mean,
And you went the other way, right?
I was just a genius from the beginning, and that's how it still ended up.
Yes. So number 4, Imposter Syndrome is my final choice in here. Top last race speed figure. It's another one with our good friend Chris P's Angle, finished last time out. So if it weren't for that winner, it will already have broken its maiden and graduated. This one absolutely has the top pedigree number in the field, but it's moving up in class today. But maybe they saw something in that last race where they felt like it's competitive. Kind of the opposite to me. Like, let's try to get more money with the 4 horse than what we saw with the 8 horse. Unless Clement is just playing a game of chicken, he's got a good horse and he needs to pay some barn bills for that one. 8, 7, 11 with the 4, 6, 7, 8, and 11 with the 8, 7, 8, 11 for my trifecta in that last race there. Full picks for the entire card look like this today. Charles, race 1 and 2 are in the books. The first race was won by the 2 horse. The second race was won by the 2 horse. And unfortunately for both of us, conspicuously, there's not a 2 horse in either one of our picks.
No. I thought it was going to be the 7's day, the number 7. But yeah, but those first 2 races, I also did think that they were pretty wide open overall.
So Boris the Blade got a $20 pound bet on the 6 horse Caramel Chip. And which race is that? Is that in that last race there? Caramel Chip
is I can't remember what race.
Caramel Chip. There you go. That's coming up in race number 3.
Yeah.
Caramel Trip, 3-1 odds on UK betting exchange. Yeah, there are a lot of times where you can find better odds for sure on the foreign exchanges if you can get a Betfair account or some other. What's the big one out there in England? I forget the name of it right now. It's William Hill, right? William Hill. Yeah, William Hill for sure. Speaking of betting today, Charles, college basketball resumes. Man, I'm in a driver's seat if Houston and Alabama can get to the finals and Alabama wins at a very big pool. So fingers crossed for that one. Our good friend, Professor Sides, will have his picks today for the college basketball. Again, you're going to want to make sure you check that out. Against the spread, he's 47-38, winning at 55% with a 5.2% ROI. On the straight-up money lines, so he's taking some underdogs in there. He's won 25% ROI. So make sure you check him out. There's a link in the description down below. Make sure when you go to his YouTube channel, you're loud and proud in the comment section. Let them know we sent you over there. Charles, you got some ideas for tonight's games?
Oh, definitely do. My friends are all going to love this. I really do like UCLA tonight. I think they'll cover the spread.
Against who? Who are they playing tonight?
Where are they playing?
You don't know who they're playing? It doesn't matter who they're playing. You think they're going to cover the spread. That's what matters.
They'll cover the spread, and then I like the Tennessee under.
It's UCLA minus the points, and then Tennessee, whomever they're playing, less than what the folks at Las Vegas forecasted. If you're going to bet today at which track are we covering today? Remington Park down in Oak Lawn. You can get free picks today over at Guaranteed Tip Sheet. All you got to do is go to the link down in the description below. You will see Remington Park. Free picks. A huge weekend of racing coming up. Again, I'll be working on probably to 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning this morning, a wagering guide covering all the main stakes races, that $1 million race in for the probably the winner's going to the Kentucky Derby. It's a 100-point race. Yeah. And that guy's, and probably second place is in the Kentucky Derby too. Mm-hmm. You're in the UK on Betfair, and BetDAC exchanges are 1,000,000 times better than the high street bookmaker William Hill's. They're a joke compared to the exchanges. All right. Betfair. Yeah, I'm familiar with Betfair, and we've had some good luck with that stuff over there too. Some folks we know down in Australia have turned us on to that. Tomorrow I will be back with my good friend Tom for Foreign Friday, a huge weekend of racing in Dubai with the Dubai World Cup. You're going to want to tune in for our thoughts on that. That one will start at 1 o'clock Eastern. And on Saturday, we'll be back. Are you, Charles, you going to join me Saturday? Or Terry, who's the guest with me on Saturday?
I believe it's me. But if you don't want me, I know.
Don't give me that option, Charles.
All the viewers out there want me, but, me and Terry really. But it's whatever.
So in any case, we're going to do something a little bit different in case you haven't been watching while you're out there in Vegas with your brand new, beautiful baby granddaughter. But we're going to do Jackpot Saturdays going forward. We're going to pick the pick 4 or pick 5 or pick 6 that has the biggest jackpot rollover for Saturday. And we're going to go through those picks. We're going to hack out. Well, we're going to have a hot dog. So one for $20 or less, a prime rib where you have $100 to spend on it. And then we're also going to hack one out together and see if we can indeed cash in on one of those big fat carryovers on Saturday. and we'll start that probably around 12 o'clock. Well, it depends on the post time for whatever race, whatever track we're going to chase the carryover for. All right. Any final thoughts before we get up out of here today, Charles, and I start working for the next 20 hours?
No, that's about it. I'm all good to go. Let's watch some college basketball and get some winners here at the track.
Indeed. Let's make sure that no matter what happens today, hopefully God's favor and grace falls upon every single person here so you can achieve your goals. But no matter what it is that you're doing today, until we get back together again, we hope that everything ends up in our great friend, Jay Marco's
winner's circle.
Man, you've been gone. You're slow, bro. All right. Have a fantastic Thursday. We'll see you tomorrow.
All right. Bye.